Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Let Me Be Serious podcast, where we're always going to have a great time and still have a serious moment or two. This podcast is for the multi-hyphenates, the faith-filled, and the dreamers, the creatives, the entrepreneurs, and the builders. If you are multi-passionate and or in a season of transition, this podcast is for you. My name is Egypt Cullum, and I am the host of this podcast. Hi, how are you doing? It's nice to see you. So, bless me. My voice is back. You probably heard it last episode, but it feels so much better this episode. I'm so happy. Um, as you heard last episode, I got into a car accident. Yeah, they hit me. I'm still coming down. I'm still losing my irritation about the situation. I'm gonna feel so much better when my car gets fixed. All right, we definitely gonna feel better by then. But that's where I'm at. So when I'm recording this, I'm actually on concussion watch. I did bang my head, but all my scans came back fine. So I'm grateful for that. I did have like a bad headache, and I was like, my actual head was really, really sore the day after. But I'm now doing a lot better. So thank God. All right, so that's with the updates of everything. So on to the first segment of things God taught me this week. Usually it's 3 to 4 things. Y'all got like 6 this week. It's cool. It's cool. It's very much cool. So first thing, obedience matters more than understanding. Me being obedient matters way more than people understanding what I'm doing. All right. That I feel like we've touched on this topic before, right? Of just doing things and just listening to God and following what you want to do, basically, and not expecting people to understand what you were doing. That's me. But I've come, as I lose my stutter, I've come to an understanding that it's really mainly about obedience. It's not just doing what I want to do, but doing what God's telling me to do without expecting people to understand what I'm doing, and stop wanting them to understand what I'm doing, because them understanding what I'm doing has nothing to do with what I am doing or if I should even do it. That is so much a non-factor. Yes, that's one. Two, the second thing is stop forcing. Brute force won't cut it anymore. I am in a new season, in a new reality, in a new place God has brought me to. And in this place, I can't force things. I attempted. I didn't realize that's what I was doing until I stopped. But I was attempting to force things, and brute force is just not going to work in this season. I think in one of the past episodes I talked about it, being in flow, flowing like water, just going with the flow and allowing things to work themselves out. I am not good at that yet, but I am getting so much better. And it's good to have those reminders to say when God tells me to step back and let him handle it. Because it makes me feel better too. Because it's like, oh, he got this. I ain't got to do it. But I'm just so used to having to do it. That's really what it is. So, working on it. Next, as I move into my soft and feminine era, not trying to be like soft life, like I love that for those girlies, but that's not necessarily what I'm doing. I'm just like not hardening myself. Like I'm losing my hardness this era and just leaning more into my feminine side. Just letting the girl be a girl. Having fun. Cool. But I'm reminded that it's okay to ask for help. Even if I wasn't leaning into this, that would be something I need to do anyway. And so it's just understanding that with this era, that looks different. In this season, in this place, that looks different. So letting people help me really is what it is too. Yeah, I gotta let people help me, and I gotta ask for help. That also means I need to know what I need help with, but I don't have to do everything all the time by myself. Truly, right? Next thing, hold space for the things you want God to give you. I'm gonna say that again. Hold space for the things you want God to give you, right? If you've asked God for something but you haven't made room for it, he's going to be very confused. Like, just do they actually want this? Then where do I put it? Where is it going to go? I'm not going to just put it on top of what they already got, because then they can't handle it. This is what I experienced with my calendar and schedule. this month. Actually, this week I got a not necessarily a call back, a message back from a job for my modeling, and I couldn't do it because I didn't realize it. I had put some other stuff on my calendar after I applied for it, and so it's like, oh, okay, I need to, when I apply for things, block off, even if it's like a temporary block off those dates and times, because I'm also in an industry where they get back to me late notice. I'm adjusting, right? That's an adjustment. I'm not used to that. I'm used to planning my month ahead of time. But with me doing that, I need to block off what I'm applying for, because if I want to work in my business, that's what's required. So hold space for the things God gives you. That doesn't necessarily have to be job related. It could be you want a husband, but you ain't got no time. You want a dog, but you ain't home. Like you you want a new car, but you ain't treating the one you got like it's worth anything. It's kind of like the same premise of like, don't be trifling, that whole thing. But just hold space for the things you're asking God for, because if he's going to give it to you, he needs a place to put it. Next thing, right? Next thing. Now we're on 5, right? We're on 5. This one is a little bit longer, but it's not the main topic. Okay. This one, obedience is going to take you farther than you think. Obedience is going to take you farther than you think. When you trust the process and just listen and follow instructions and are obedient, that's going to get you a lot farther than you just trying to figure it out by yourself, trying to do other things that God didn't tell you to do. Look, let me tell you. So I'm also on this part of my journey where I'm going to have to learn how to do taxes for my business. And that in itself sounds very scary, but I know it's not super duper scary. I'm just going to do it. So cool. But I realized I made a lot more money than I realized I made last year. Why my brain did not conceptualize I made that much money? Not that it was like a super duper big number, but why my brain didn't conceptualize that I made that much money? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to it. Also, I didn't even put in 100% most of last year. Like, it was so much going on, as y'all know. So it's like, wow. So when I actually got up and told him I was ready, and I put forth the effort to do the things that showed him I was ready, God kicked in and dropped those jobs right in my hands. And I didn't track. I mean, I was tracking it, but I wasn't paying attention to it like that, to where it's like I'm seeing the exact numbers. So when I seen the exact numbers, I was like, whoa. Oh. And if anything, it was really affirming, and I'm really grateful, because I was really doubting some things as I've been doing my goals for this year. Like, I was not necessarily doubting like, oh, I can't do it, but it's like, should I do it? Like, questioning if I should do certain things. And that was just affirming, like, I can do it. He's changing how I'm doing it. That's where I was like, I don't know, right? That's for this year. But he showed me, like, you half did this last year, and this is still how far you got. So yeah, obedience gets you farther than you think. Just keep listening. And for me, it also showed me, like, I should listen to him now so he can get me further. Yeah. So that's also a thing too. All right. So, this next one, our seasons of becoming are really seasons of discovery and stepping into our new selves on the external. hmm It's so much more to becoming than I realize. And it's interesting how God has revealed this process to me, because it's like, we're going to get into it. Actually, we're going to get into it. So that's going to be our main topic. Give me a sec. Hold on. So the main topic for today is really just titled, He's Already Changed Me. He's already changed me. He has already changed you. He has. So really, in my season of becoming, I've realized it's less about what God is doing, but he's teaching me how to navigate what he already done, like what he has already done. He's showing me how to move forward with what he has already done in me. So there's really two seasons I'm learning of, the seasons of becoming. One season is learning. The second part of that season is discovering. So learning, then discovering. Two-parter for that season. In the first part of that season is learning. So learning who he is shifting and changing you into. So that means you start becoming convicted about your past actions and thoughts that you previously thought were fine. Now, we've heard this like said so many ways, and in my opinion, most of the people saying this particular thing are not necessarily the speakers or ministers that I would listen to, because they are usually the ones preaching at you, and that's no, that I just it's a reception thing. It's a reception issue. I already know that about myself. But with this thing, it's like, with this point, it's like it could be small stuff. It's like hanging out with somebody and talking about a particular topic, or it could be like going somewhere, and one of the actions you did in that place is like, oh, that's not what I want to do anymore. So it's like, okay, it's you remembering. And then it's also like you start disliking stuff you used to love. And with this particular process, for me, it literally happened overnight. It's just like, oh, I don't want to text this person anymore. And it was just so funny. Seriously, it was funny more than anything, because I was like, what happened? What happened just now? It happened overnight. And then he'll tell you to stop hanging with people that you just started getting connected to. That one's personal. And then you start to think differently and think differently about things. Those are two different things. You start thinking differently and think differently about things. So it's like, it's, for example, like for my math people, because I'm around a lot of math people in my day to day, right? It's like thinking about things from an algebra perspective to a trigonometry perspective, or from, like, I'll just say regular math perspective to algebra, right? So we go from 2 plus 2 equals 4 to A minus C equals F. So two completely different ways to think about it, right? Two different ways of thinking. And then it's like you think about things differently. Like, because you have a different way of thinking, you're going to think about different things, topics, issues, tasks, whatever, in a different manner as well. So for me, let's give an example, right? If in my real life, not necessarily a real situation, but an example. If I'm going to work my 9 to 5, my old way of thinking, actually, let's use a real life one. My old way of thinking is I'm just showing up. That's it. I show up for this chick. Because I've been very jaded and over my 9 to 5 lately. Just so y'all know. But now, as I've like gotten into the second stage of this season, I'm more like, okay, let me make a positive impact while I'm still here. Because I know I've been phasing out of this job. Like, that's nothing new. But it's like, let me make a positive impact while I'm here. Let me go find my people. Let me go talk to my people, the people I actually enjoy here. Let me make a student smile today. Let me make a person smile today. Like, it's a different approach, because I have a different way of thinking about it right now. Because right now it's like, I'm not just showing up. I do show up. That's the first step, yes. But I've actually started thinking beyond that, more about my impact, more about my influence, yes. Not just Egypt's here. Cool, right? So, and I think the people I experience at work have also seen and noticed a shift in difference. I will also say rest helps, because they was tiring your girl out. Also, I just was dealing with a lot. So yeah. Next, for the season of learning, right? You start to begin to understand your discernment and God's wisdom with it. So you're starting to understand what discernment is, how that looks like for you, how you need to be using it in your life, right? And then understanding God's wisdom, like God's sharing stuff and information with you, and you're kind of better able to like piece those pieces together in your head, right? So it's really developing your new identity in him. That's really what it is. He's changing you on the inside. Now, discovering that second part, that's a bigger part, right? Discovering is how you're now discovering how your new identity acts, interacts, and moves through the world, right? So you're no longer just like in this process of changing. God changed you already. Once we hit this second half right here, he already flipped the switch. The first part was him telling you what's about to change. He flips the switch, you are changed. Now you got to act changed. And it's not even like you got to. It's like you're going to realize you feel different. You see things different. You're just going to be like activation mode, right? So now you're learning to distance people and reposition people in your life. You're learning how to do it. It's the action attached to it. This second half is you interacting with the external world. He changes the lens which you see people that choose to walk out of your life. For example, I had someone tell me like they literally just popped up for 2 months. Cool. Then all of a sudden it was like, no, I don't really want us to be around each other for real. Huh? What? Like I was like, huh? But as I was like, I was in this season of change, right? In the season of discovering. Like I had already been learning when that situation happened. I was in the part of the season where I was in the learning half. Then midway through I hit the discovering half and I was like, lately I've just been fine. I do not care. Because I realized that some of the people that want to leave didn't need to be there no way. Some of the people that God wants me to distance from don't need to be there no way. So it's a lot that goes into it. But it's once again, it's how you're interacting with your external world, not just what's going on the inside. It's like, oh, I'm acting different now too. I'm choosing different now too. I'm showing up different now too. Like you start getting convicted about your actions and thoughts. You are, not past ones, the ones you're currently about to do and the ones you do, right? Yeah, the ones you act on. You didn't feel uncomfortable falling back. You didn't feel comfortable falling back into your old ways. You don't feel comfortable doing that stuff no more. You can't even do it because you're inside. Then it touches your inside. Like, oh my gosh, I'm a different person at this point because you are. You begin trusting your discernment and God's wisdom too. Like now you're out of the learning stage. Like before you were in learning what it was, what it looked like, how to use it. Now it's like, now you're doing it because you ain't got no choice for real. Like you then went through the training. Now it's time to put it in action, right? And then you begin to handle situations differently and more mindfully. And I'm not talking about overthinking. It's more like you think once confidently and correctly and then act. There's no necessarily overthinking with it. It's not like, should I do this? Well, this person might feel this way. It's more like, this person doesn't need to be here. Okay, cool. So, and then it's like, well, the thing you might be confused about, for example, with me, it wasn't I need to cut this person off. Like when I first heard a message that I need to stop hanging out with somebody, it was like, oh man, I can't have this person in my life at all. Like once again, learning. Like that's the period where that conversation need to happen. It's like, what is this? I need to ask questions. I need to learn. What does this mean? Now I'm in the discovering period where it's like, distance doesn't mean cut off. I just need to not actually hang out with you. You could text me, call me, whatever, but we're not going to be hanging out in person. And so it's like learning how to maneuver those physical in the external situations as this new person. And God's showing me this every day with all my interactions for real. But it's like, I feel good. I feel confident. And it's about acting and being obedient when he's telling you things so that way you begin to trust. You got to start trusting God, but also trust yourself to follow through. You need to build more evidence to show yourself that this is what you can do. Very important, okay? Now, this is also to say I'm choosing to operate differently in this next part of the season. I just am. God's telling me to take more pressure off. God's telling me to take more pressure off because I can't be holding all this stuff. I think I said this last week, but it stayed with me. I can't be holding all this stuff that He didn't give me because when He's ready to hit I think I said last week when He's ready to hit the brake, because he brake checks me a lot. He does, like, in the spiritual realm. He be brake checking me, but when He's ready to hit the gas, it's all gonna go in the back seat anyway. I can't be holding a bunch of stuff that is not for me. So since I'm in this season of release, He's saying, "Girl, let go," because you telling me you ready to go. Look, I'm telling you right now, put that down, because you don't know what speed we finna go. You don't even, girl, put it down. And so that's where He's at with me. In the conversation, really the revelation God gave me this morning was that my actions don't move me forward. Jesus. Let me say that again. My actions don't move me forward. My obedience acts as a signal to Him to let Him know I'm ready to move forward. That's the process. So as much work I'll be doing and putting in, it's like, then I'll be like, I don't see no forward movement. Have I done what He told me to do first? Let's check that off the list. And then also learning that I'm not the trigger of my forward progression. So even me being obedient is not the trigger for forward progression. I also don't know what my forward progression is supposed to look like because I'm not driving. So sometimes I don't think I'm moving forward. I'm moving, but I'm like, I don't know if it's the right direction. Even if you're not driving, stop worrying about it. Are you being obedient? Are you doing what He told you to do? Sit in this car and calm down. Like, that's where He's at. Just keep doing what I told you to do. And also, I'm not always the reason God told me to sit still either. So if I'm not seeing forward movement or even movement, it's not always something I'm doing. I'm still learning to wait on Him and to stop rushing Him. I feel like I've said that before. I probably have. I'm gonna stop saying it, but I am building my patience. Yeah, I'm gonna stop saying the opposite word, but I am building my patience. I am actually a pretty patient person for some things, but I'm learning to stop rushing Him because He's always preparing. He's either preparing me or He's preparing where I'm going. And I get anxious and want to get there, but I'm realizing I actually don't want to get there until the place is ready. I don't want to get there until the place is ready. And sometimes I might need to be fashionably late because this is what he told me. This is what he told me. Sometimes I need to be fashionably late, okay? Because sometimes the entrance might need to be big. The entrance might need to be big. We got to show up at 7 p.m. and start it at 5. Why? Because we're the main event, baby. And I know for me, God is preparing some big things for me, and I'm learning and willing to wait. I am. I am learning and willing to wait. All right, so guess what time it is? It's time for question from the besties. A question from the besties. A question from the okay. Sorry, I went into very much Eddie Murphy mode. Anyway, I don't know, y'all. So today's question is from Bestie Tori. Hi, Tori. I'm running low on questions from the besties. So if you are a bestie and want me to answer your question on an upcoming episode, go ahead and comment your question, bestie, because I'm here and I'm ready to answer your question. So, back to today's question. What's one thing that women in their 20s and 30s need to hear more often? Mm. As a woman in my late 20s, almost 30s, we're not even going to talk about it. I'm very grateful for it, but mentally, I ain't registered that yet. But anyway, so as a woman within this age range, something that God has been putting on my heart more and just reminding me, and I've been reminding others, is that your deadline is made up. I want to drop the mic, but I don't feel like breaking it. Your deadline is made up. Your deadlines, plural, are made up. This is not just for women either. This is for men too, but women for real. Because I know as a woman, I am very driven and motivated. I want to get things done at a certain time. Da, 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 da. Right, cool. Men have a different pressure, so I can't speak directly to the pressure you all feel, but this message is for you too. Our deadlines are made up. Didn't no one tell you who had valid evidence of why this applied to you? Why this deadline for whatever you're thinking of when I said that applies to you? It's made up. This whole, you gotta get married by this time, you gotta have kids. By this time, you gotta be successful with a bunch of money. By this time, you need to have your own house. And all right, cool, yeah. No, all that's made up. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's story is different. Don't no one have the same story. Even some of the ones that look real similar are also very, very different. So stop being so hard on yourself for not meeting deadlines and matching timelines, because we are on God's timeline. You're too busy trying to be in control, baby. We're not in control of none of this. We're not in control of any of this. So please remember, it's good to have goals and things you're working toward and things, smart goals, whatever. Not a smart goal girly. Love y'all though, because it works for you. They don't work for me. But anyway, I understand the premise of it. And I think it's good. Just know that's made up. Especially if you ain't prayed about it. But it's made up. So chill out. Breathe. Calm down. You're doing great. Like, you're doing great. You're doing so much better than you think you are. You are exactly where you're supposed to be at right now. Breathe, please. In, out. You're doing a great job. All right, as you might have expected, there's not a game for today. I need to sit down and hyper focus on figuring out what game we're going to play each week. I think it also would help if I had a co host, but I don't. So, y'all, my co host. So, I'm going to have to sit down and think for the both of us, but y'all can also comment and make suggestions about games y'all want to play with me, because that we are together with on this journey. Okay, so let's all think of something. But yeah, no game this week, y'all. No game. So make sure you go check out the Nook. Link is in the podcast description. Also, I'm going to add a link to my newsletter. So, as you all know, I model. So, Model Egypt Cullum is my model brand, and it has a newsletter. Okay, it has a monthly newsletter. It is called Behind the Lens. Okay, and it is just talking about my behind the lens journey of being a model and what all goes into it and my experiences. And it's monthly, and I'm not blowing up your email, y'all. So make sure you go check it out. Once again, link will be in the podcast subscription. Thank you so much for staying with me and listening to this episode. Don't forget to show some love and rate the podcast, subscribe, follow wherever you're listening to this. And just know this is my restart, and revamp season still. So the encouragement you give will never go unseen or unappreciated, my love. If you have questions or comments that you want answered or, brought up on an upcoming episode, don't be shy. Comment it wherever you're listening, or just hop over to my Instagram, which is at Let Me Be Serious, and ask me there. Make sure you preface it with question from a bestie so I know what it's for. Because if I don't see that it's a question from the bestie, I know you're one of my besties, right? But I'm gonna assume you want me to answer it wherever I see it and not on the podcast. So make sure you preface it with question from a bestie. And this is another episode of the Let Me Be Serious podcast, where we're always going to have a great time and still have a serious moment or two. And I will see you all next week. Bye.